and welcome back to another episode of Coast Football Weekly. This week's episode is an Association Cup special ahead of the 2026 Grand Finals this Sunday. Our WPL kickstart the day at 11 a.m. with a Grand Final rematch of last year's Association Cup and first grade Grand Final between East Gosford and Kehlani. Men's reserve grade will follow at 1 p.m, with Southern and Budgie Boys squaring off before the main event of the evening. The 2025 Premiers, Southern and Edalong, will face the 2024 Premiers, Berkeley Valor, at 3 p.m. in a highly anticipated matchup. To preview the games, we got players joining us from our men's and women's first grade teams competing in the Grand Finals. We'll dive into their pre-season so far, get their thoughts ahead of their Grand Final fixture this weekend, and touch on the big things we can expect from them and their side in 2026. The first silverware of the season is on the line this weekend, and Plume Park is the place to be. Don't miss out this Sunday as we crown the 2026 Association Cup champions. Now, without further ado, let's welcome our first guest, our first grand finalist, Berkeley Valor's Jakeb Brownlow. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me on the pod.
Now, thinking back to pre-season, how's the journey been so far with this squad?
It's been great. We came back in, I feel, quite late for pre-season, and I really enjoy that. I do really enjoy that.
Extra time off.
Yeah, actually getting time off, and I was talking to Shane about that before, one of my teammates. So you actually get the chance to miss playing, and it rolls back again. I feel like everyone's kind of ready to go and firing. So it's been a good pre-season so far coming back in.
And what's been the focus for the team come 2026?
I think the big focus for us is really getting like solid systems and frameworks. I think anybody who knows Andre as a player and also as a coach, I love the way that we've been set up so every player kind of understands what to do. Because the nature of the beast, right? You get through your season and people are getting injured and people have to chop and change. If everybody understands what to do and in different situations, and we've got a few different styles, it makes it really good. So that's been our big focus this preseason. And I think it's doing us a world of good.
Now, starting a bit later, does that mean you had to work harder, or how's that treating you coming back a bit later?
It's work smarter, not harder, isn't it? No, there's definitely been a few moments where, more so in the earlier trial games we played, definitely felt like, I've got a little bit of work to do, and a few of the boys said that as well. But honestly, I think everybody gets it back way quicker than what you think. I think it doesn't really take that long to get back to match fitness. Like, everyone's active. It's not like the last game of the season's played and people just do nothing. Everyone's still doing kind of some kind of athletic
Pretty
pursuit.
active,
So it's apart from that first game, I was like, I've got a bit more running to do. It's been fine. Yeah, it's been good.
Now, you fell short last year compared to what you would have liked, especially coming off 2024.
Thanks for the reminder for that. Yeah, man.
What makes this group different from last year?
It's a great question, and I think we did come so close. And I think looking at it, we just probably had a few positions that if we really nailed that, I think obviously biased, but I think we could have really gone the whole way. And I think we've replaced those positions this year, and it's looking good. I remember early preseason kind of looking around and thinking, like, man, okay, we've really filled those gaps. I feel good about this year. I do feel really good about this year. We've done a great job at just creating a really good culture. So I feel like people have kind of come and gone, and we've lost a few great players, which, they'll definitely be missed. But the crew is great. I actually really enjoy rocking up to every training session and game. So people can kind of come and go, but I really do feel like that core stays around. So yes, we've had changes, but I really feel like that core is the same, and we've just added to that.
Now, looking forward to this weekend. You're obviously coming off a 3-1 win over Evoke in the semi-final. What was that fixture like? Talk us through it.
Hot. it was
hot.
cooking. Yeah. I think that's the big thing. Said to the boys before we played, right? Like, you always have to be aware that, I think call it for what it is. When you play a team who's kind of up there, and you have a team that's maybe not in and around that top four and competing for those things, when they get you in a final, like, they're going to go hard.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Football that's why we love it, right? It's literally who can rock up and win on the day. And I think we've definitely got caught in the past, in a few fixtures over the years of not showing up to those moments and kind of taking our foot off the gas. And that almost happened. We went down, but I think we've had enough of those experiences now to say, no, okay, we do need to switch on. And the only key, I think, for us in that is just having that mentality of, no, I really do believe that it is us that gets us undone. I don't really think it's as much as who we play. I think it's about our mentality and how we rock up to that. At least that's what it feels like in the game. So it was a good fixture. It was good to get the win. I feel like we're clicking in a few spots that had places that weren't really starting to fit together. So it's just felt like a nice progression, and always good to get the win in a final and then get into the big one.
Yeah, you're coming up against some tough challenges. So 2025 Premiers Southern Edalong. What are you anticipating from them come Sunday?
Yeah, I actually really like playing Southern, man. I really do enjoy playing Southern. It's always, you always know you're in for a game. It's always going to be physical. It's always going to be challenging. It's always going to be quick. Honestly, those are the reasons why I play. You play Southern and it could really go either way. I like competing for that stuff. I think they're going to be solid. So I am looking forward to that.
What does it making the Association Cup Grand Final this early in the season mean to the group?
It's good. I think playing any final is amazing, and I think it's really good to get to that place this early in the season because you can ride that wave. I think it also does put you in a little bit of a hot seat when you do get into the season. If you do win that association final, you do get a little bit of a target on your back, and it kind of turns every game into a more challenging game. But that's the nature of the beast, you know what I mean? So I think it'll be really good for us, whatever the outcome. The boys are up for it and keen, and I think we're only just going to keep using that momentum and energy as we go into round one.
Now, I've got a few quick fire questions for the game this weekend. Who do you think is the biggest threat to you from the opposition?
Oh, honestly, us. That might sound like a little bit of a cop-out, but really us. I think the biggest thing that gets us undone is how we approach games, and we've got a really good mentality going into that. So I'm going to say us.
If you had to predict who's going to be the first goal scorer this weekend?
Me.
Do you have a score prediction for us?
Oh, that's a wild thing to say before a game. I'm going to go... Yeah, let's go 3-1 Berkeley Valor. I'm going to go 3-1 Berkeley Valor. Yeah.
Can you give me a player of the match?
Oh, player of the match. You can't say yourself, can you? No, I'm going to go. I tell you who's been. I like Jack Elwood. I think he's a really good player for Southern. Obviously, you got Jakeb Brownlow. He's phenomenal. Webby as well. Oh,
some big game players within the squad.
Keith. That's why I said it's. And take what I say with a grain of salt, right? I'm obviously getting asked a question, I need to give an answer. It's just going to be a great football game. You know what I mean? I really do feel like that. What was the question again? So hit me that quick fire question.
Player
again.
of the match.
I'm going to say Kyle. Kyle Author, our goalkeeper. Yeah, I feel like he'll have a lot of work to do.
Obviously, a new addition to the squad this year as well, Kyle.
Yeah, he's been good. He's been good. It's great. I think it's healthy to have competition for that goalkeeper spot. But yeah, he's looking confident, and yeah, it's nice to really back somebody like that. So I think he'll be solid. I don't know if you'll like that, me putting that on him like that.
Bit of pressure.
Yeah,
early on in the season.
Pressure. Nah, that's why I like Kyle as well, man. I think he's pretty unfazed by that stuff. He's definitely the Lone Ranger. He's his own guy, so he'll be sweet. Yeah, I'm gonna go Kyle.
Now, looking forward to round one of the winter season. You host Wyoming at home on a Saturday night. What are your thoughts on that round one fixture?
I'm looking forward to that. I think Wyoming are always tricky to play. I think you're in for a physical battle. I think that's, at least in my head, that's the idea that I probably got from them. That's what everybody kind of seems to say. But when we play them over the last couple of years, I don't think you can underestimate them technically as well. They've got some players who can hurt you if you let them. But Mingara's a fortress. I think it's a tough place to come to. But I like that. I didn't know who he played first round, so I think that's gonna be a good one to kick us off.
And who do you think will be your biggest competitor throughout the 2026 season?
Yeah, their league, I think, is probably in the best place it's been for a solid amount of time. It's difficult to say one team. I think Terrigal is going to be really good. They've obviously got a lot of players back. Southern's really strong again this year. You can't write out Canwall. I think Kehlani are probably back better than what they've been over the last couple of years. Obviously, you've got Budgewoi. Like there's a lot of good games. There's a lot of good games this year. It's always good to play. I think Canwall's always been kind of Berkeley's bogey team, way longer than what I've been here for. I think last year, I don't think we'd ever beat them at home or something like that. Something ridiculous. I can't remember which one it was. So that always feels like a big game. Yeah.
What would make 2026 a successful season for Berkeley Valor?
It's winning. I think I'm under no illusion. Like I do play to win. I do enjoy that. My late grandfather used to say that. What is it? Winning is everything. Second's nothing. There's a reason why you don't get a cup if you come second. And it did feel like that last year. Like it did feel really bitter towards the end because I feel like we could have kicked on. As I said, if we, had maybe a little bit more, and I feel like we've got that this year. So yeah, just competing. I think at the end of the year, if we're in and around it, whatever the result of that is, that'll be good. But yeah, winning.
One final question for today. If you had to pick, who do you think is the grand final matchup come the end of the season?
I'm going to say Berkeley Valor. And, far out. It'll be Berkeley Valor, and then I'm going to say Terrigal, Budgewoi, Southern. It'll be one of those. It'll be one of those three. But I think really I'm looking forward to the back end of this season because I think it's going to be a hot one.
That seems to be the top four that most people are sort of predicting. So it'll be interesting to see come the end of the year where those teams are at.
I'm glad people put us in that. It's always an awkward one if we're not in it. That'd be pretty funny. So yeah, I think that's a good four. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for joining us and coming on, and wish you all the best this weekend and the season ahead.
Much appreciated. Thank you.
We are now joined by the other half of Sunday's main event, representing Southern and Edalong, Matt Jacobsen. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me on.
What's been the biggest focus for your team coming in 2026? Obviously coming off such a fantastic year in 2025.
Yeah, it was a good year. Obviously our biggest focus is just getting back into the swing of it. Obviously everyone had a few months off. We didn't start preseason until January. So just getting back into it. We know we've got to be better this year. A lot of teams are obviously, got better around the competition. The competition as a whole has got better. So just improving our game style, our gameplay, and yeah.
Does seem like it's going to be a stronger year all round, especially a lot of clubs obviously recruiting well.
Yeah.
Has there any been major differences to your side? Any key ins or outs player-wise?
I wouldn't say there's been any major changes. Off the top of my head, I think 14 of the 16 players we had in the grand final are still here. So we've kept a core bunch of blokes, and we've got a few players in addition. Obviously Tyler Wade, Jackson Brown, Aaron Forward, Paulie from Sydney, a few of the older boys returning. So in terms of just the whole squad, I think it's added a lot more depth to it and a lot more competition for spots, which is good.
And how has preseason been? Has it been tougher than usual? Has it been easier than usual? Has Paige giving it a bit easy because you won a trophy last year?
No, Paige never gets it easy. I actually think the hardest thing is finding a ground to train at. Like we've trained, one oval one day, and then the next oval we're at Edalong, and then we're somewhere else. And when you're training away, obviously it's hard to get the gear there and everything. So that's probably been the hardest bit, but no, we've all worked hard in pre-season. Paige hasn't been too bad this year, so it was actually better this year, I reckon, than last year. So, yeah.
Just got to keep winning trophies then.
yeah. Win another one this week. Hopefully it gives us another week off. So,
obviously culture within the club's probably the best it's ever been, winning a trophy. Is that what the vibe's like?
Yeah, I mean, last year was my first year, and there was good vibes last year, but coming this year, it's just everyone wants to be there. We're getting great numbers of training. Like every training session, we have at least 25 to 30 people there. Everyone wants to be there. Everyone's happy to be there. The coaching staff's great. Obviously, we lost Fergo and Red, but Matty Skeen, Nath Bowneves, and H have come in. So, everyone's loving it at the moment. It's good.
Big win on the weekend, beating Budgewoi in a rematch of last year's grand final, 3-2 victory. Talk us through that fixture.
Yeah, wow, that was probably the most hectic game I've ever played in. I mean, obviously, we always have a good game with Budgewoi. Every game we versed them last year just came down to moments. We were lucky enough to win the big moments, I guess, in the big games. And same on the weekend, like 4 penalties and a half is pretty uncommon. But we got the win, and that's all that matters. And yeah, we move on.
And how excited is the squad for this weekend in the Association Cup Grand Final?
Yeah, very excited. I mean, every time you get a chance to play for a trophy, I think it means a lot. I've been playing for 22 years, and this will be the third time I've ever played for a trophy. So I think everyone's excited for the opportunity, and yeah, getting to rip in.
What are you expecting from the opposition?
Yeah, I mean, Berkeley are a good team. Like they're a very good team. They'll play very structured football. They're hard to break down, and they're clinical when they go forward. So I'm expecting a lot of the same from last year. I don't know too much about what new players have got in, but yeah, they'll be very good at the back, and the boys up top will be hard. And obviously got some pace on the wing, so we'll have to bring our best game to match them.
Now I got some quick fire questions for the game. Who is the biggest threat from the opposition?
I'll say the boys up top, Jakeb Brownlow and Connor Fitzpatrick.
And if you had to pick who was going to be the first goal scorer in the game, who would that be?
Sam Webb.
Score prediction?
1-0. Away.
Okay.
I
just wanted to make sure you clarify.
Yeah, no, I had to clear that up.
And then a player of the match, if you can give us one.
Sam Webb.
And now looking beyond this weekend, you play Ourimbah round 1 at home. What are your thoughts on that round 1 fixture?
I mean, we haven't seen anything from Ourimbah, so I'm not too sure what to expect from them. But I know they'll be hungry. They'll work hard for it. Every game in the NPL is tough, right? So we've got to be better. We can't just rest on anything that happened last year. Like this year's a whole new year. We know that we're going to be the hunted coming into this year now. So we've just got to rock up and be ready to play and be prepared for anything.
Yeah, obviously just fell short of that first place finish, but went on to win the grand final. Do you feel like you're going to have that target on your back compared to Budgie?
Yeah, I think us and Budgie will have that target. I think we were definitely the two best teams last year. And I think the teams, I mean, I know when I played in previous years that you always want to beat, when all those years at Kehlani were winning, and every time you wanted to verse Kehlani, that you just wanted to beat them because they were the best team. So, yeah, I do feel like we'll have a target on our back, but I also think that, if anything, we're better than last year. So I think we'll be able to handle it. And as long as we keep getting better each week, we know we have a lot to work on even throughout the preseason. So, no, we're keen for the challenge.
So what would a successful 2026 look like for Southern come the end of the year?
I mean, I feel like it's wrong if I say anything but winning the comp. Obviously, we'll start this week by taking one game at a time. A successful year would be, I would say winning the comp and at least and winning the league would be a big one. Obviously, I know like it's not so much of a priority in Australian football, but it does mean a lot being the best team over 18 rounds or whatever it is. So I think that a successful year would be minor premiership and grand final, obviously. And yeah, I think that's what we're set out to do.
Peninsula rivals, you minor joined the competition this year after getting promoted.
Yeah.
Is that a fixture you're looking forward to?
Yeah, no, we're excited for it. I mean, I played at Wayway a lot of times and versus minor a lot of times in Div 1 derbies, and they're always probably the best game of the year. You get double, triple the amount of people to a game than what you normally get. And I think the first game's the day after Anzac Day on that long weekend. So no, we're excited. That'll be a great game. It'll be very good, tough. Like those derbies are always tough, right? So looking forward to the boys at GW. We didn't have one last year, so yeah, I'm keen for it.
You spoke about how much stronger the competition's got this year. If you did have to pick one competitor who you think you're going to battle with the most this year, what side would that be?
Yeah, I mean, I think a few teams have got better. Like Budgie and Berkeley will always be up there, I think. If I was going to pick someone different based off just looking on social media, I'd probably say Terrigal. Seem like they're going to be a very good team this year. So, yeah, obviously Budgie, Berkeley. I'd say Terrigal is the biggest competition.
Now, before this week's grand final, you and the boys travelled down south to Sydney on Wednesday night for an Australian Cup match. You're going to be sending a full squad to that?
Yeah, we'll go full strength. So obviously, I think Waverley won 20-0 in their first round. So I think Paige said no training Tuesday, game Wednesday, and then light session Thursday. So we'll be full strength and on Wednesday and just take one game at a time and
ready to back it up on Sunday.
Ready to back it up on Sunday. I mean, it was nothing. Last week we played on Saturday and then went down to Sydney and played on Sunday. So, and last year we had plenty of games during the season where we played in the New South Wales State Cup, same as this year, where play on the Saturday, back it up on the Sunday, and I think the boys actually love it. Like, I think like having that back-to-back games of high quality football, like it brings the best out of you. Like you have to dig deep in those second games, especially and I think we did that like plenty of times last year. So yeah, I think it'll be good. I think we're keen.
And then One final question to wrap up. If you had to pick the grand final matchup today, who's going to be the two teams on the Plume Park at the end of the season?
Obviously us. Just purely off the game of the weekend, I'm going to say Budgie Boy. I reckon they look good. Every time we verse them, it's a close game. I'll say Budgie rematch.
A rematch.
Rematch again, yeah. Hopefully we go back to back, but see what happens.
Well, thank you very much for coming on. I wish you all the best for the weekend ahead and for the season.
No, I appreciate you having me on. Thanks, Adam.
Cheers.
Appreciate it.
We will now hear from our women first grade grand finalists. Joining us first from the Rams, it's East Gosford's own Emma Hurley.
Thank you for having me.
So what's been the focus come pre-season in 2026 for your side?
Our focus this season has been gelling as a team. We've had some people leave, had new people arrive, and we've got new coaches as well. So it's adapting to their coaching style and getting cohesive as a team.
And what's been the toughest part of your pre-season?
Fields. We have access to a little school, but unfortunately the fields has caused some impacts with not being able to have access, the rain. So we're trying to use other resources.
Now, you mentioned some players have left. Were you able to replace them, and has this been sort of the biggest change in the squad?
Yeah, I would say we've had 2 or 3 of our senior players move on to something else, but we've had some new intakes from other clubs and from different leagues, so I think it's also beneficial in a way.
And what's the vibe like at the squad at the moment?
I think as a squad, it's excited. Everyone's keen to have different coaches, new members, so it always brings excitement back into the team to get into a new season. Obviously, we had an end that we didn't like the last season, so we want to redo it.
Making the grand final in the Association Cup for the 3rd straight year, so congratulations.
Thank you.
Last week, 7-0 victory over Camel in the semi-final. Talk me through that fixture.
We went into this game not knowing what to expect. Obviously, Camel have got an influx of new young players who looked very eager on the day. So we went in thinking it was going to be hard competition no matter what. Obviously, as the game started to flow, I think it was only 1 or 2-0 at half time, so there wasn't a big score difference. And then in the second half, we just got into our rhythm and then brought everything we could.
And you meet Kehlani again this weekend.
Again, we do.
What are you looking forward to with this matchup?
I think with this matchup, it's always a big contest. They've got some unreal players who play quality football. So it's always nice to verse a team that can play quality football because it's always a competition. No matter where you are on the pitch, you've got a strong competition against you.
And for you personally, how excited are you for this weekend?
I'm excited. I think it's good to get a good hit out against a club that you always battle against every single year. Obviously, the results haven't gone our way previously. So I think it's always good to keep pushing ourselves to get that win.
Who do you think is the biggest threat from the opposition?
Chloe, their goalkeeper. She just seems to save everything and she's such an unreal player.
And if you had to pick this weekend the first goal scorer, who do you think's getting on the score sheet?
Oh, I really don't know who is going to be the first goal scorer. I could not pick a player. Maybe Tahlor Thackray. She can whip one from quite far distance, or Lucy Metcalf. You really can't tell.
Do you have a score prediction for us for this weekend?
I would love to say 1-0 our way. Make it a close game.
And with that 1-0 win, if you had to pick a player of the match, who would that be?
It's a tough one as well. I think if it was going to be a Kehlani player, it would probably be Chloe. If it was going to be a East Gosford player, I would love to see one of our juniors who have come up and played for first grade this year. But again, it's hard to say.
And as we look forward to round 1, you also face Berkeley Valor again, a sort of fixture that seems to keep coming up for you guys. What are you looking forward to that fixture?
I think, again, part of that fixture is we always know it's going to be a hard battle. So I think for us, if there's something we see that we need to improve on from this weekend to then, that will be something we really look forward to put forward to. But I think it's also good because who knows, one day we really hope to get them. And I'm really excited. It's always a good game, big battle. Let's see how it goes.
Do you and the team feel like there's a pressure to go and go beyond this year compared to last year, obviously falling short?
I don't think we feel no pressure in regards to coming off last season. I actually think all the pressure is on Kehlani because they won everything last year. So I presume they would be expected to do again. We actually feel like there's no pressure on us at all. I think for us, it's a benefit having new coaching staff, new players all come in. It just gives a fresh look for us and no pressure on us at the moment.
And do you think Kehlani are your biggest competitors this year, or is there any other teams that you think could be an underdog? coming into 2026?
I think Kehlani is still going to be our big competitors, but I definitely think you got teams like Terrigal and Kincumber who are unpredictable and can be the underdogs, absolutely.
A successful season, what does that look like for East Gosford in 2026?
Consistency. We would love to be more consistent than when we were last year, finishing in clinical moments, and top 4 would be an ideal position for us again.
And if you had to pick today, what is the grand final fixture come the end of the season?
I think it'll be East Gosford and Kehlani.
Well, thank you very much for coming on. We wish you all the best for this weekend and the season ahead.
Thank you very much.
Our final guest of the episode, a highly decorated player amongst the WPL ranks, Kehlani Val's Tahlor Thackray.
Hey.
What's been the focus for your team come 2026?
I think just building on last year, they had a really successful season. Just building on top of that, and trying to do exactly what we achieved last year, but doing it even better. Yeah,
And what's been the toughest part of preseason so far?
I think everyone's answer would probably be fitness, but we've had a lot of new girls. I think 6 or 7. And I think we lost 3. So just connections with them, and then seeing how they play, and then them seeing how we play, and just trying to gel and work things out.
Are those plays coming in and out? Is that sort of the biggest differences from this squad compared to last year? Obviously, a very successful season for Kehlani last year.
Probably. I think, yeah. I mean, the girls that have come in are probably equally, if not, we've got a lot of firepower, especially in forwards as well as like back in midfield. There's depth across the whole team. It's pretty incredible. And even like our over 35s as well. It's not just a team. So over 35s as well as all age ones, but even like, all age 5s, if they want to train with us, they're welcome to. We're more of a squad and like a women's dynamic than just a single team.
So the culture at the club, would you say, is pretty good?
Pretty good. It's honestly probably one of the best, and Sarah Hudson has a lot to do with that. There's even the equality in the club is insane. After winning last season, just the things that we received as a club, the women in particular and stuff like that. Yeah, the culture is definitely big.
Now, you're coming off a big semi-final win, 5-0 victory over Terrigal, who are sort of been labelled an underdogs by many people. Sort of talk us through that fixture and what was that like?
I definitely do think they're underdogs. They definitely have the depth and the players to be able to do well this season. I think in pockets we were just a little bit better, and I think just well connected in different scenarios. I think our new forward Chelsea, she did great with 3 balls, but then there was just other scenarios where our girls from last year connected on just past experiences playing with each other. 4 goals off the back of that was good.
Now it's another grand final against East Gosford. You shared the turf a lot of times last year in some pretty high stakes game. What are you expecting from the opposition come Sunday?
Well, they're definitely a tough team. They're very good as well. We've got a lot of depth across the park. I definitely expect a tough game. I definitely expect that from everyone, but East Gosford for sure.
And for you personally, how excited are you for the grand final this weekend?
Well, it's always exciting to be in a grand final. Yeah, and especially being, in a grand final this soon, it kind of shows the work that we've put in at the start of the season has worked.
Now we've got some quick fire questions for all the players coming on this week. If you had to predict who is the biggest threat from the opposition?
Probably say Jess Dominello. She could shoot anywhere and score.
If you had to pick a first goal scorer?
I'm going to back one of our forwards. I'm going to say Chelsea, one of the newbies.
A score prediction?
3-2 us.
And a player of the match?
Lucy Metcalf, for sure. Or Maddie Yates. Both very consistent.
Round 1, you play East Gosford again away at Hilton Moore Oval. What are your thoughts on this round 1 fixture?
Honestly, to be honest with you, I really haven't thought about it, and as a team, we haven't thought about it. We're very much like a week-to-week focused team. Whatever the week ahead of us is, we are preparing for that. So I honestly haven't thought about it. It's what's happening this week is what we're thinking about.
Winning a treble last year, do you feel like there's sort of a pressure on you and the squad to replicate that this year, especially with the sort of influx of players that you have got?
Definitely. I think if anyone were to go through that, for sure. But like I said, it's a week by week thing. It's not something that we're solely focused on. We're focused on, just bettering what we were last year and working as a team to be able to, be the best that we can be.
Do you think you have a biggest competitor this year, or is it you just, like you said, focus on what yous are doing?
I think focus on what we're doing. As long as every person in every position is playing well, then the whole 11 that are on the field at that time will just excel. But overall, every team I think has depth and a very easily chance to be up there.
What would make this team successful in 2026?
I think undefeated though, like it's honestly anyone would want to do that, but it's not our sole focus. I don't think it's anyone's sole focus. I think it's just playing to the best of our ability, and with that would come success.
And if you had to pick a grand final matchup for the end of the season, who would you select?
I'd obviously have to back us, but yeah, in regards to what I said before, I think you could probably see any team up there, to be honest. I think it's a bit of a different competition to last year, but you got, your minor. Southern got a few players this year. East Gosford, obviously. Kinney, yeah, anyone. Terrigal good.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining us on, and we wish you all the best for this weekend and the season ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Coast Football Weekly. Reminder to like and subscribe on YouTube and leave a rating and review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We'll catch you next week for another episode.